Well, hello again, everybody. Jon Ross coming at you live and in color, as always, from beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, where it's been cold and damp and crappy the last couple of days. I don't know about the weather where you live, wherever you're at, but yeah, weather not so good. But it's warm inside the house, and I don't have a name for the house yet. I got to figure out what to call the house. Patrick, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll get to your question here in just a moment. I would like to wait a few minutes to. That's right, man. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. That's right. Sporting my KU sweatshirt tonight. I need to get myself some other sweatshirts. I've got my KC Chiefs covered. I got my Jayhawks covered. I need a few more. I need a Cubs sweatshirt for the World Series. I have a Cubs sweatshirt, but I need one for the World Series. So if any of you guys are looking for Christmas gift ideas, hint, hint, Cubs World Series champ sweatshirt would be definitely on that list. So anyway, yeah, tonight, whatever it is, it'll be today for some people watching. If anybody watches this from Australia, it's already today, tomorrow. There's one for you. It's already today, tomorrow in Australia. Now, flip that around in your head for a moment and see how that works. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You're going to Chicago. Let me guess, the Midwest Clinic. Yep, I remember those days. Good times. Good times. Yeah, so you'll probably end up seeing a lot of Cubby stuff while you're up there. Everybody still probably celebrating, even though it's been a month. In case you haven't heard, because you either don't follow baseball or don't know what baseball is, or you've simply just been living under a rock for the last month or so, Chicago Cubs won the World Series. I can't even believe I'm still saying this. It doesn't even feel right to say it. I can't believe they still did it. It's just unbelievable. Yeah, you got to stop by Wrigley Field, man. It is a shrine. It is a cathedral of baseball. And pretty... That's right, 1060 West Addison. Absolutely right. So yeah. So anyway, I'm here to do some Q&A. So those of you guys that are watching live, you can go ahead and post your questions. And hey, Steven, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I was just telling everybody that, oh yeah, Baseball Cathedral, Wrigley Field. Have you ever been there? It's amazing. The park was built in 1914. It's the second oldest stadium in the major leagues aside from Fenway Park. And we definitely call it a baseball cathedral. It's full of history. It is like when you go to a game at Wrigley, it's like you've gone to heaven, like you've transported to another universe. Yes, it is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. I will tell you, Kauffman Stadium is among my favorites. But only second to Wrigley Field. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm excited that we've got some viewers, and just to kind of recap, I'm doing a Q&A tonight, so post your questions in the box below, and I will answer them as they pop up. One of the questions that came up from a couple of you guys, Patrick, I know this was yours, and then Mark, I know you're tuning in on the replay. Mark Modilewski, my good friend up there in Vernon Hills, is going to be tuning in on the replay. These guys wanted to know what the deal was with the name change to Ross. So here's the story on that one. And you'll get a little bit of backstory on the rest of the career too. Hey, Autumn. Hey, great to see you. I haven't talked to you in a long time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune in. Let me look at your question. What was the first instrument you played, and what inspired you to become a musician? What a great question, Autumn. As a matter of fact, I'd like to go ahead and answer that now because I don't want to forget it. I do remember, I have the other question written down. So the first instrument I learned how to play was the piano, and it was about when I was 4 years old. Now, I was 4 years old in 1976. I don't know that there's very many of you on the broadcast that would remember 1976. So you might have to look up 1976 on the History Channel just to see that year did actually exist. But anyway, I started piano when I was 4. My mother signed me up for lessons. I didn't know. one way or the other. I had, no control over that. Didn't even know which way was up back then. So 4 years old, piano lessons, got into school in 4th grade. One of my best friends joined the orchestra and played violin. So, of course, you do what your friends do when you're that age, and I played the violin too. Well, then that was about the same time that we would start to go over to my cousin's house a little bit more often for family gatherings, and he played the drums and had a drum set. And so I started playing around on the drum set and decided, no, this was a lot more fun than playing the violin. Not that there's anything wrong with playing the violin, but for me, the drum set was a lot more attractive. So in 6th grade, I joined the band at my junior high. They called it junior high school back then, by the way. That was another thing. It wasn't this middle school or whatever they call it now. It was junior high. Anyway, so 6th grade, I joined band and played drums and percussion, and the rest is history. Patrick, I had no idea you play violin. That's pretty cool. I played violin for 3 years. Hey, Haresh, good to see you back on the broadcast as always, my good man. And I know it's a little bit later for you, so I appreciate that you take time to tune in. Nope, you're just a little bit late. I'm just getting started. We had a question from my friend Autumn. Autumn's actually a former student of mine from Independence, Missouri, and she asked me about what my first instrument was and what influenced me to become a musician. And I was telling the story about how I started on piano, and then in 4th grade, I took up the violin. 6th grade, and 6th grade, was the drums. In 8th grade, I tried out the trumpet just to see what that was like. Did that for about a year. In high school, went back to being a drummer. Started to pick the trumpet back up again senior year. And then in college, now this is where my career gets a little bit interesting. Because when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a rock star. I actually had said I wanted to be a rock star. Well, back then, I didn't know what being a rock star actually entailed. And the music industry, the way that is now, is built a lot differently than it was back then. And that may be a good topic to get into as well. But anyway, so I actually... Right. I get you, Autumn. I get you. Yeah, I probably did explain it at one point about that. So, yes. Well, you know what? You can still be a rock star, Haresh. There's nothing that says that you can't. And maybe I could be an example of that, because here I am in middle age trying to reinvent my entire career. I decided to go on into music education in college. Actually, the funny part about it is I had actually applied to... Well, we interrupt this broadcast to bring you a visit from Addison.
Did you do your song yet?
No, I have not done a song yet. No.
Oh.
No, tonight this is question and answer night.
Well,
so anyway,
you should do a song though.
People listen to class. Well, yes. Believe it or not, Brian, there were some people that actually listened to me in class. I know probably you were not one of those people, but I know there were some people that actually did. Anyway, so we interrupt this broadcast to give you a visit from Carrie. And, right, what?
Look at this orange.
Yep. Won't cut it open. It might still be good. Okay, so I'll get to that one in a minute, Steve. Let me finish answering Otto's question, but that's great. Steve and I go back to about 1994. We had our own little thing going on. I'll tell you about that. So anyway, make a long story short, I had originally got this bright idea to... I had originally gotten this idea that I wanted to do something with music and engineering so I could learn how to design synthesizers or something like that, which is actually would still be kind of a cool thing for me to do. The problem is I never researched that when I was in high school looking to go to college. So, thanks, Steve. I had actually gotten accepted into the engineering school at the University of Illinois. And I entered that college as an electrical engineering major, if you can believe that. After the first month of school, I realized that's not where I needed to be. And so I went into music education. taught band for 15 years off and on, a couple different places. I know that there's some former students watching the broadcast, and I really enjoyed working with you guys. But deep down inside my heart, it wasn't really the career profession that was fulfilling what I feel like I was put on this planet to do, which is to be a performing artist and a musician. So, yeah, Haresh, I hear you, but I just don't know that I'm wired that way to be the engineer type. A little bit too left brain for me. Though I know there's a lot of creativity in that field. Don't get me wrong, because obviously you're designing things. And maybe someday I'll learn how to design a synthesizer. I still think that would be very, very cool. And maybe you and I can get together on that. But as far as what inspired me to, thanks, Haresh, I appreciate that very much. As far as what inspired me to become a musician, it was just getting reacquainted with my basic purpose a few years ago, doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of self-improvement stuff, a lot of self-help stuff, and just really still trying to kind of figure out who I am, which is actually really funny that this came up, because one of the songs you guys are going to hear the next broadcast is a song called Who I Am. How fitting is that? I didn't even plan that. Hey, Todd, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So anyway, Autumn, that hopefully answers your question. As far as what influenced me to become a musician, it's just something that I just felt really deep down inside that I was meant to do, which was to be an artist and be a performer and do all that kind of stuff, which came from years of performing and teaching and doing all that stuff and seeing a lot of other people follow their dreams and watching performers on stage going, man, I wish I would have done that. Man, I wish I would have done that. Man, I wish I would have done that. Again, not that there's anything wrong with teaching. We need great teachers. Was I the greatest band director in the world? Probably not. There's a lot of band directors out there that are better than me. But anyway, but yeah. So anyway, Autumn, hope that answers your question. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So let me know, Autumn, if I sufficiently answered your question, and if not, I will explain a little bit further. But there's basically a lot of things that influenced my decision to become a performing artist. The good news is it's a lot easier for me to do it now in this day and age than it would have been back in the late 80s, just because the music industry model was so different back then. It just required a whole different set of skills and a whole different type of work ethic. That may be a good conversation for another live stream. Anyway, going to get to the question that was posed by Mark and Patrick about how the Jon Ross thing came about. Because all you guys know me by my legal name, which is Rosenthal. But what happened was great question. Mark, I'm about to answer the Ross question now. Haresh, that's a great question. I'm going to write that down to address when I'm finished answering these other ones. These are great, guys. Keep them coming. So, yeah. So, as far as the Jon Ross thing, here's what happened. Back in August was when I really made the decision that I'm going to be all in on this artist thing. I'm not playing around with this anymore, because I did kind of play around with it 2 other times since moving to Nashville. And I'm all in, okay? So, no, it didn't actually come from high school baseball. This actually came from my grandfather. I found out from one of my cousins that my grandfather on my father's side had done some radio back in the day, meaning like in the 30s and stuff. And instead of Rosenthal, he used the name Ross as his stage name. And I had put out a Facebook survey because I didn't like using John Rosenthal as an artist name. I didn't like the way it sounded. I didn't think it was cool enough. And I was looking for something else. So I was asking on a Facebook survey. I did, did it for the chicks. That's right. Okay, Haresh, I'll get to that question too. So, money for nothing and your chicks for free. So, anyway, I'm talking about the name change, and I did a Facebook. I just put a question on my Facebook page, whatever, about the artist name. I was thinking about John Phillip. I was thinking about Phil something, JR, whatever. My cousin Mark Rosenthal was the one that put the bug in my ear about my grandfather using Ross as a stage name, and immediately I was like, that's it, Jon Ross. That actually sounds pretty cool. So that's actually how the name change came about, and what I'm going to be using for my stage name and all my branding as an artist from here on out and everything like that. So that's the long and short of it. Nothing too fancy or complicated, but that's where the Jon Ross thing came about. So as an artist, I'm known as Jon Ross. I know most of you guys know me as the other name, but I don't think the other name is as cool. So yeah. So there you go. All right. So then I had another question from my friend Steven. Thanks, Haresh. I appreciate that. So Steven and I used to work together. My first teaching job out of college is when I met Steven Przicki. He's the Steven that I'm referring to that's looking at the broadcast with us right now. And he was a percussion coach at this high school that I was teaching at. It was called Revis High School in Burbank, Illinois, in the south suburbs. And thanks, Pat. Glad to share the story with you. Yep, that's where Steven and I met. And we had this thing going where we would just observe all kinds of shenanigans going on, and we had this thing of like where we would just point out to each other all the obvious examples of human stupidity, to the point where we talked about even writing a book, Human Stupidity Chapter 10 or whatever it is. And so Ben, good to see you. I haven't talked to you in forever too. Rock chalk, my friend. You're still in therapy over that. Yeah, I am a little bit too, to tell you the truth. That was an interesting year. So Steve asked me what's the biggest bunch of human stupidity that I've run into over the course of my career. And I almost think there's a little bit too much to name when it comes to that one, because, I mean, you see it all the time. I don't know. People are just not aware. I think it just as a society, this is my personal opinion, but I think there's just a lack of awareness amongst the population of what's going on out in the world. And they're just, I don't know, people are getting dumber. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm offending some of people by saying that, but, well, at least Steven agrees with me. So anyway, so yeah, that's my take on human stupidity. It's all around us, unfortunately. If you stop and look around, you'll see it. How about this? All you gotta do is go to Walmart. There's your human stupidity, chapter 234 million. So yeah, okay. So Brian Maynard with a question: how did me and Pat meet? Pat and I met. You know what, Pat? I don't remember if we met while I was still a grad student at KU, or if we met when I had already taken the gig over there at Raymore Pulier. You got to refresh my memory on that, because I don't actually remember. Yeah, exactly. Walmart on Black Friday. That's your example of human stupidity. Yeah, is right, Pat, because I know that there was something to that. I was a graduate student at KU, and again, I feel like we somehow met there, but I don't know. I don't recall. All I know is that we met. We've been really good friends ever since. So I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, that could have been. Pat, because I did work with some of the percussionists in the junior high section of Midwestern Music Camp in the summer of '99, and that might have been where we potentially met. So Pat and I have known each other now since, well, 99, 17 and a half years. We've been really good friends. Something like that. Yeah, KU Drumline Camp maybe. Because, I don't know, I think maybe you enrolled there in 98 or 99, maybe right after I left. It had to be something along that line. Dumb decision. Wasn't a dumb decision, Pat. It was great. We had a lot of fun. At least I did. And I know the kids really liked having you around. Good. So next question was, I'm glad we're having so much fun with this. This is great. So Haresh posed the question about what the biggest challenge was that I faced when making the decision to embark on this career as an artist and all that. Yes, Carnival 9. Oh my God, what a great arrangement. I don't care who you are. That show was pretty cool. That show had a lot of potential, and I don't think we ever really reached the potential that that show could have. But anyway, bygones in the past. What are you going to do? So what was the biggest challenge in embarking on this artist career full time? This was not an overnight decision by any means. Probably the biggest challenge was arranging my life and arranging my would I cheer for K-State? No, that's like against my religion now, Autumn. I hate to tell you, but it's inscribed in fine print in my diploma. Is not allowed to cheer for K-State and must hate Missouri for the rest of his life. That's pretty much how it works when you're a Kansas grad. So, sorry. No love for the Wildcats out there in the Little Apple. But anyway, of course you had to ask. It's totally fine. Anyway, my decision to do this artist thing full time was not an overnight decision. I had to make sure that I could arrange my schedule in a way that would foster doing the things that I needed to do as an artist and still bring in money to pay the rent, feed the kids, and do all that kind of stuff. So, I've got a couple of side hustles that pay my bills, and along with the gigs that I do every now and then, so that I'm able to have enough free time to do this. I teach private piano lessons, and I have this is another lucky thing. Just through some of the networking that I've done since being in Nashville and some of the people that I've met while being here, I learned about a gig teaching at this Montessori school. So I teach there one class of band per week. That's the only band directing I do anymore, and it's part-time. And really, I do that. Yeah, I enjoy it, but it's a good income, and it gives me an opportunity. Once again, it's only an hour a day, so the rest of the time, I'm teaching, a piano lesson here and a private piano lesson there. The rest of the time, I'm writing songs, rehearsing, helping with the kids, doing family stuff, and doing all that adulting thing. Which, by the way, I finished the lyrics to that song. I meant to tell you guys this afternoon. I finished the lyrics, at least the first draft, to the adulting song that we were talking about last week. So. This week I'll have to put some music to it and see how it flows and see what needs to change. But I think it's pretty funny. We'll have to get your feedback on it. Rachel, good to see you. Thanks for joining in the broadcast. We're doing a Q&A session, so if you got any questions for me, this is a perfect opportunity to ask. Yes, adulting does suck sometimes. Haresh, thanks. That means a lot. And, along that line is something... yeah, Rachel, hi right back at you. This was something, I go back and forth saying, oh, man, I wish I did this 20 years ago and all this other kind of stuff. But, I don't know that I could have done it 20 years ago because, like I said, the music industry has changed so much. And, yeah, I might have been able to form a band, and, yeah, I might have been able to do gigs and do all this other kind of stuff. But, as far as becoming very, very well known, it was a lot more expensive back then to record and put out albums and do all that kind of stuff. It's so much easier now with the internet, and there's so much DIY musician stuff out there now. It just makes it so much easier for an independent artist like me to have success using the internet, social media. Still plenty of places to go perform. It's just a lot cheaper now. You can record an album in your bedroom with the equipment that's available now, and still get it professionally mixed and get CDs and records produced for a fraction of what it would have cost 25 years ago. So that's the beauty of it. So yeah, maybe a little bit older than some of the cats you hear on the radio, but the good news is the way the industry is now, age doesn't matter. So very thankful about that. And excited to see where this new career goes. And I appreciate that you guys are plugging along with me on the journey, because it wouldn't be much fun to do it by myself. And the fact that you guys are here with me to tag along means everything. And it goes back to what I say at the end of every broadcast. You are the reason why I do this. You guys are the reason why I do the broadcast. You guys are the reason why I write music. You guys are the reason why I perform and do everything else. because my purpose is to uplift the civilization and infuse the world with art and leave you guys feeling better after you heard the music than you did before. So, all right, another question. Family life's most important in your decision. I'm going to way to go. And yeah, absolutely, Haresh. Absolutely. You got to have that balance in your life. OMG, let me tell you, you absolutely have to have that balance between work life, family life, spiritual life, all that kind of stuff. And I was guilty for a lot of years of being very out of balance with my life. I was pretty much married to my job for a lot of years, and it was just no fun. It's no fun to be working all the time. Plus, I was working at things that weren't making me totally happy. How many years have I been playing piano? 40 years, Suresh. 40. It's a long time. It's a long time. How did I settle on piano? I think you would ask me that question. Just being my first instrument and being really good at it, it kind of made sense. I have been teaching myself to play the guitar, by the way, and I am planning a broadcast here as part of this 30-day challenge to actually sing and play guitar for you guys. And that's coming, probably later on this week. I may do that in the group page, just as kind of a special thing. But the piano just kind of made sense since I've been playing it all my life. And it's kind of fun because I can play with synthesizers and all kinds of cool keyboards. Yeah, you know what, Mark? I wonder if, because I thought in my 20s I was out there, trying to find myself. But I'm wondering now if that doesn't really occur until we get a little older. So, Mark, I'm excited for your journey as well. Yes, 40 years I've been playing the piano. So, it's been a while. It's been a while. Joel, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Joel's also Niwee High graduate, Niles West High School, and Cub fan, and good friend of mine, plays the saxophone, and does a bunch of other cool stuff. So yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. I was in the middle of answering some people's questions, but this has been a lot of fun. And yes, I think I remember now. Oh, those stupid messages. Life experience makes it. Yep, absolutely true, Mark. That is so true. You know what? And that also brings me back to that early song I shared with you guys. Everything happens for a reason. I mean, the older I get, the more I believe that's true. So we need to start a virtual band. Good. Joe, one little. Oh man, sure. I can do that for you guys. So Joe's asking me to do the keyboard solo from Song for America. I still play that every now and then, and I have to admit I'm a little out of practice. My timing between my right hand and my left hand is not what it used to be. So I need to practice a little bit more, but I'll do the best I can for you on that one. What an awesome request. So Song for America is a song by the band Kansas. They're the band that did Dust in the Wind, Carry On Wayward Son, and some of those other hit songs. Song for America wasn't their biggest hit, but it's my favorite Kansas song. And in high school, I learned how to play this thing all the way, and it was a lot of fun. So I can definitely do that solo for you guys. Any other questions, just go ahead and pop them in, and hopefully I'll catch them. If I don't catch them live, I will answer them in the comments after the broadcast is done. Anyway, aren't they from the 70s? Yes, 70s and 80s, Autumn, the band Kansas. And that's right. So, and even into now, I think they've got some new music coming out. A lot of these older bands that we grew up with that started in the 60s and 70s and had some hits in the 80s and kind of went away in the 90s and 2000s are coming back with new records. Would you believe the Rolling Stones have a new record coming out? I mean, talk about Stones. I mean, I'm surprised they're not Stones already. They're Stone Agers. They're like the oldest living band I think that still exists, maybe except for, I don't know. I mean, some of the guys from Genesis are still around. They're from the late 60s. But, man, you talk about old stuff. But anyway, yeah, so cool. So did you really, Rachel? That's awesome. So me and you, Rachel, we're gonna do some maybe dueling keyboards. Billy Agus says hi. Oh my goodness, holy cow, Bill! Oh my goodness, Bill and I used to be really good friends, and we lost touch. I didn't even know where he was. Old as gold is right. So let Let me see if I can get my hands to work on this, you guys. So there's a big piano solo in this song called "Song for America" by the group Kansas, and it's in a really weird time feel meter thing. For those of you non-musicians, it's not like a straight beat at all. It's a little bit more complex than that. So, okay, all right, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah. All right, here we go. And so on and so on and so on. So anyway, so a little lot of practice on that, but hey, you know what? You get an inside scoop on what goes into this sometimes. So yeah, I'll have to practice that one a little bit. But Melissa, good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while either. Well, we talk on Facebook, but it's great for you to join in. We're having a question and answer session. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate the compliment on that. Hill Street Blues. What's that? Is that this? I don't know how the rest of it goes. I never watched the show. Yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank on the rest of that song. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to listen to that. Maybe refresh my memory and play it for you on another broadcast. But this is a lot of fun, you guys. We have to figure out how to all get together live. Yeah, I definitely need to start planning maybe some tours. And we need to talk about doing some house concerts, you guys, because that would be an absolute blast for us to do. And I could take your requests and do all that. We would just have a big old party. So, yeah. I hope I answered everybody's questions, and if you have any more questions, I can help out a little bit. You guys are very, very welcome. Yeah, team viewers, something. We'll figure something out, a way to get everybody interacting with one another. Yeah, concert tour and reunion, that would be good. We'll go to a Cubs game, and then we'll do a house concert, and then I'll take all your requests. There you go. We'll plan on that for sometime in 2017. That will be so much fun. Anyway, I hope I answered everybody's questions sufficiently. Sponsored by Jaeger, right? Jaeger shots. We'll have Jaeger shots in honor of that old lady Dorothy from the Cubs games. Yes, Cubs. Yeah, which if you haven't heard, they won the World Series. I don't know if any of you guys have heard this yet, but anyway, just kidding. Alchemy, oh my gosh, you guys are bringing back so many memories. It's not even funny. Oh, I'm loving this. This is so great. I think this has been the best live stream I've done so far. This has been awesome. Annual tradition for sure. And, we have some special guests on the program.
We just wanted to say goodbye and good night before he closes off because we're just doing gymnastics over there.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Bye, guys. Bye. See you guys tomorrow. My name's Addison, by the way, for the people that don't know. My name is Kelly.
Okay. Autumn Alchemy was the name of a band that me and some guys from high school started. One of my friends that's here on the broadcast, Joe, we were in that together. Good times, my friends. Good times. So yes, I hope you've gotten something out of these broadcasts, and I will continue to. Okay, hi and bye to you girls as well. Yeah, so my purpose as an artist, like I say at the end of every broadcast, is to uplift the civilization and infuse the world with art, leave you feeling better after hearing the music than you did before hearing the music, and add value to your life. And hopefully I have done that for you again just by the conversation. I'm glad so many of you guys joined, and I got to talk with you. And lots more to come, I'm sure, because this is great. I'm loving this. I'm going to continue to do it past the 30 days. And we'll just continue to have a real good time staying connected like this. This has been fabulous. So I'm going to sign off here. This is the longest live stream I've done so far. That it's been phenomenal. I've had a blast. Thank you guys so much for everything and your support and for tuning in. Ernie, glad to see you, my friend. I'm actually getting ready to sign off, but hopefully you can take some time to catch the replay. I did a nice little question and answer session with a lot of my fans and friends. So, yes, good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our little chat. And I'm going to get my girlies to bed. Tomorrow night, I'll have another song for you guys to showcase, and we'll just keep on keeping on. So keep the questions pouring in. I appreciate the chat. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it, too. I'm getting some good feedback popping up here. Really glad that you guys stayed with me this whole time, and thanks for your questions. Thanks for your interest. I love it. Keep it coming. Like I said, I do this for you, so whatever you guys... yeah, White Rabbit. That was another song we did that year. Oh, the memories. We'll have to have a marching band conversation one of these days. Anyway, I could keep going on, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off, get my kids to bed, and get some R&R for the evening and get ready to hit it hard tomorrow. Steve, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm actually just getting ready to wrap things up, but if you take the time to catch the replay, you'll get a nice little question and answer session with everybody. Hey, Larry, good to see you too. Rock Chalk, my friend. Again, I'm just getting ready to sign off, but hopefully you guys can catch on the replay. So anyway, once again, thanks for tuning in. Glad to have you on board with me on this journey. I hope you stay on this train because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're just getting started. And I'm going to sign off by saying good night and so long, everybody.